All right, so the problems that seem to be the most issues was the rewriting. That's why we had you guys practicing that again today. If you aren't so comfortable with it, I'm just going to go through a few more practice problems on how to rewrite before we move on to other equations. That will be tomorrow. So some of the problems that you guys had, especially the ones with the fractions, was things like if I had a 1/2 x minus 3/4 y is equal to, say, 27. So when you have an equation like this and you have to rewrite it, you've got to figure out, okay, I need to get the y by itself, trying to get it into slope-intercept form where it's y equals mx plus b. So that means the first thing that you're going to have to do is move your x variable. And the only way that you can move that x variable is to do the inverse operation of it. So the inverse operation of 1/2 x, since it's a positive, is to just subtract it. Because a half minus a half is basically like canceling it out. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do it to the other side. But I can't necessarily do 27 minus 1/2 x because those are not like terms. One of them is just a constant, the other one is a coefficient in a variable, so they're not like terms. So this is going to get canceled out. Now, because there's a minus sign here, that now acts as if it's a negative sign, and that's going to come down. So it's now a negative 3/4 y is equal to, and again, you want it in that mx plus b. So that means I want this negative 1/2 x to be written first, because I want to have my slope in my x variable to be written first. And since it's a positive 27, I can write plus 27. Okay, now the next step is to go ahead and get rid of that coefficient that's in front of the y. So the inverse operation of a multiplication problem is to divide by negative 3/4. Now, because it's a fraction, the same idea of dividing by negative 3/4 would be to multiply by that reciprocal. But you have to keep in mind when you're dividing, you divide everything by that value. So I'm going to divide all of these by negative 3/4. Now, this problem right here, if you don't have a calculator, you could just do it by hand, negative 1/2 times negative 4/3, because you've got to do the reciprocal, the opposite in the reciprocal. And then you could also do the 27 and multiply it by the negative 4/3. Okay, so a negative times a negative is going to give you a positive, and 1/2 times 4/3 is going to wind up giving you 2/3. So you'll be left with 2/3 x, and then 27 times negative 4/3 is going to give you a negative, because a positive times a negative gives you a negative, and that will give you a negative 36. So you now have y is equal to 2/3 x minus 36. I think a lot of the fractions were probably throwing people off, and you didn't have calculators in front of you. It might have made it a little bit more difficult. Let me show you another example that is a non-fraction rewrite. So if I've got a problem like 4x plus, we'll do 2y. 4x plus 2y is equal to negative 18. So again, it's the same idea. You have to move your x term over to the other side first. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. That's going to give me 2y. That's a positive 2y is now equal to, I want to write my x value first. So negative 4x. And then that negative 18 now becomes a minus 18. And then again, to isolate that y, since it's multiplication, you're just going to divide by 2. But you have to divide every single component by 2. Every term gets divided by 2. And that gives you the final answer of y is equal to negative 2x minus 9. Let me do another example. And feel free that at any time, if you need to, you can unmute yourselves, or I can unmute you and you can ask questions if you have any questions at all. I've just unmuted everybody if you need it. So we've got something like 3x plus 8y is equal to 56. Actually, we'll make this a negative 3x. Negative 3x plus 8y is equal to 56. So the inverse operation in this case of a negative 3x would be to add 3x to both sides. So now we're going to have a positive 8y is equal to 3x plus 56. And then you want to get y by itself, so you're going to divide every single value by 8. Everything gets divided by that 8. So now you have y by itself. 3 over 8, that can't be simplified. You can't divide it evenly, you know, or I mean, it's going to turn into a decimal. So you just might as well leave it as a fraction since the slope anyway. So you're going to leave it as 3/8 x. And then 56 divided by 8 is going to be 7. And then you're done. You've got your whole rewrite finished. So I think that you guys were mainly struggling with the rewriting. That's why you practiced today, and you're going to practice a little bit more tomorrow too with another sheet. Are there any questions from you guys? Or anything else that you need me to cover? Are you guys okay with finding the intercept in graphing?
I was wondering how you find the X-intercept.
The X-intercept? Okay, so there's 2 different ways that you can do your X-intercept. So let's say that you are in slope-intercept form already. So if we've got a problem like y is equal to 3x minus 8. So 3x minus 8, that's our y-intercept currently. Actually, we'll do a 2x minus 8. Make it a little bit nicer. So in order for you to be able to solve for your x-intercept, the x-intercept is the point at which y is equal to 0. So all we have to do is replace your y value with a 0 and then solve the equation. So you have 0 is equal to 2x minus 8. You then just solve it. So the first thing that you would do is add the 8 to both sides. And that would give you 8 is now equal to 2x. And then your last step would be to divide both sides by 2. And you would get x is supposed to be equal to 4. So when y is 0, your x value is 4. So your x-intercept is at 4, 0. And then, of course, you already know your y-intercept because your y-intercept is located right here. That's your y-intercept. That's 0, negative 8. Okay, so that's one method for solving for the x-intercept. That's if it's in slope-intercept form already. The easier one, I think, personally, is when it's in standard form to solve for your intercept. So if we've got a problem like, we'll say 6x minus 4y is equal to 48. So 6x minus 4y is equal to 48. Again, if you want your x-intercept, so you've got the equation 6x minus 4y is equal to 48, and you want that x-intercept, that means that the y is gone. The y value is completely gone because y is supposed to be equal to 0. And if you multiply 0 by any number, it's just going to give you 0. So it's as if that didn't exist anymore. So you're now left with 6x is equal to 48. You would just divide both sides by 6 and find that x is supposed to be equal to 8. So your x-intercept is 8, 0. And then likewise, you can do the same thing for your y-intercept. You've got that equation 6x minus 4y is equal to 48, but this time you're going to go ahead and get rid of the x value when you're solving for the y-intercept. And again, this only is going to be true when you are in standard form. You can only erase these things when you're in standard form. So this is now gone, and you're left with the equation negative 4y is equal to 48. So then you would just divide both sides by -4, and you get y is equal to -12. So your y-intercept is at 0, -12. Anything else? You guys are okay? I'm gonna take your silence as a good. So if there aren't any other questions, then I'm gonna go ahead and log out of the Zoom, and then I'll load this video up onto eClass, so that way if you need to see it again, you can. And you guys can always feel free to text me. Don't ever feel shy about messaging me at night. I'm available anytime that you guys need it, because I know this is probably really difficult for us to be going through, okay?
Eileen typed something in the chat.
Oh, did she? I didn't see it. Oh, I didn't see it. It didn't pop up. Where does it pop up at? Oh dear.
It says chat at the bottom.
It says chat at the bottom. Mine looks different than yours. Hey, Eileen, let me unmute you, and then just go ahead and talk. Tell me what your question was.
So for the worksheet, problem number 9,
Uh-huh.
is that solved as like solved as the same as all the other problems?
Let me open up the worksheet. It was the one I had you doing was the riddle sheet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Can you see my riddle sheet opened up right now or no?
No.
No? Okay, let me hold on. Let me unshare, and then I can share the riddle sheet looking for you. Okay, so can you see the sheet now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said number 9?
Yeah.
All right. So for so for this problem, what you would want to do first is, this is not in standard form. Notice that you've got your your AX, you've got your BY, but your C happens to also be on the same side. So the first thing you're going to want to do is move that -3 to the other side by adding 3. So you then would create that equation, 2y plus 7x is equal to 3, instead of the -3 is equal to 0. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so once you've got it into that format, then you can go ahead and solve it.
Okay.
Okay? And I think all of those are still rewriting questions, aren't they? They're all just getting them rewritten into that y equals mx plus b. So once you've got that 3 over, then you would move your x over, then you would divide by your y, and then you would find out which one belongs to it.
Okay.
Okay? Is everybody able to upload their document onto eClass? I know that some people were having problems with it, but all you have to do is, when there's 2 files, one that was the actual sheet and the one that says that Dropbox. If you click on the Dropbox, there's one that says you can add a file in there. So if you click on that and then click upload from whether you're on your computer or on your phone, it'll upload the pictures for you.
I don't know how to work the Dropbox, so I was gonna just take a picture of it since I printed it to like send to you.
Okay, you can do that. Then what I'm gonna do is, Alera let me borrow her login information, so I'm gonna post a video on how to actually do the Dropboxes. That way it's all in one spot, so I don't get confused of who emailed it, who sent a picture, who uploaded it. So for this assignment today, that's fine, but make sure tomorrow when I do another Dropbox activity that you guys watch the video on how to load your activities onto the files, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and log off of the Zoom, okay?
Okay.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.